Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Danganronpa. So chapter 4 finished. Turned out Sakura killed herself. But the story has yet to completely finish as we're now going to get to the tease, as it were, for the next chapter. We're quickly approaching the point where I stopped watching Game Grumps play the game, so we'll be into new mystery about halfway through this chapter where I just don't know who did it or what, but I do particularly have suspicions. Also, the game in the last recording told us we were halfway through, which was amazing. That's just shocking. I would have thought we were three-fourths of the way through, if not further. It also ran us through three fairly difficult rhythm games. So if the next trial has four rhythm games and I can't get more SP to use to unlock more skills or better skills through the free time, of which there probably is only about two free time, uh, anyways, we may hit a hard wall at some point where I'm just failing miserably. Anyway, let's continue. Uh, so someone said, "Wake up!" The voice dragged me from a deep slumber. Here we could let's see if we can even pull up the thing. Yeah, we have question mark, question mark, question mark. Wake up, huh? And that's where we ended last time. Uh, Dragged me from a deep slumber into hazy half consciousness. My eyelids were like lead. So here's Makoto
Kyoko?
asleep in his bedroom, which you would have assumed he locked the door to, and Kyoko is standing above the bed looking at him. Is there anything special about how she is drawn? Because this is one of the different drawings. Um, I'm not sure her orange tie is flat. That's a little weird to have a tie that ends on a flat cut. And then they did at one time refer to her hair as silver when it's clearly pink. Super long too. She's wearing gloves still. Everything else looks the same.
Yes, it's me.
Interesting. Kyoko just responds. Uh,
Kyoko?
Kyoko.
I said yes.
Hmm.
So Kyoko's here.
So he's like half asleep or dreaming.
Wait, what?
In a flash, I was wide awake. What are you doing here?
It's true.
I'm here to wake you up. Okay. Oh, I see. Wait, but my door. It was unlocked. You're unbelievably careless. It was unlocked. Are you serious?
Hey,
Always. And you don't have to overact like this every time you're surprised. Let's see. I guess her tie is flat cut. Interesting. Um, what time is it?
correct.
3 o'clock in the morning, of course. It's 3 a.m. Why was Kyoko waking me up at this hour? Yeah. You would think if this was an earlier chapter, this would be where Monokuma would show up and say, "Oh, a booty call. I'll leave you two alone," or something along that line, and make a dirty joke. But I think after Sakura basically sacrificed herself to unite the team, or at least try to unite the team, we are now definitely more into the serious part of the story. And I wouldn't be surprised starting with chapter 5, which it says time unknown right now. Uh, we will probably focus more on seriousness. I'm honestly not 100% sure that we don't at some point just stop doing the murder mystery gameplay part, anyways. Um, it would be fairly kind of pointless, I think, to start searching everything now. I need to find out what Kyoko's doing here because I think we still are in chapter 4. So, yeah, there's, I think, very little reason not just to talk to Sayaka immediately. What would happen if we tried to go back to bed? Hmm. Nothing. Okay. It's so late. What happened?
Makoto.
I have a favor I need to ask you. So we gotta react to everything. Uh, what's your favor?
So,
Remember when Sakura said at the end of what Sakura said at the end of her note? I'm not going to just lay down and die. I will fight you. That's interesting that Sakura said that, because if she was thinking that she wasn't going to die, then I don't know why she wrote the suicide note and then get the poison in that case. I guess maybe the suicide note and the poison may have been a backup plan, or maybe there's some kind of like rebirth or fiction happening here where people aren't actually dying. I want to find out what she meant by that. Okay, but how do you plan to do that? Then Kyoko put her lips next to my ear and whispered, the data center on the 4th floor. What?
goodbye.
I'll meet you there. Without another word, she was gone. What the? The words reverberated through my half-dazed head. The data center. But I thought it was locked. And so it now says it's midnight. I really don't see good reasons to not simply just fast travel. If we can. Because we kind of see that in the middle of the night it's unlikely to trigger anything. Actually, even trying to fast travel seems like it's not going to trigger anything. I made my way into the after hours school and headed to the data center on the 4th floor. So it just skips to all of that. Eventually wound up at the data center, but when I arrived, Kyoko's not here. That's weird. She said she'd meet me. Is she maybe inside already? I put my hand to the door and with a certain amount of force, rattle, rattle. It didn't open. I tried again, but rattle, rattle. It must be locked. What was it Kyoko said? The data center on the 4th floor.
What's this?
Oh ho, what are you doing up, mister? So now Monokuma has caught me, which you almost assume that whoever's controlling Monokuma is in the data center, if not in the headmaster's office nearby. Gah. Breaking into a locked room is incredibly prohibited, don't you know? Oh well, they're trying to tell me you didn't actually bust in yet, right? But I can see that you don't waste my time telling me crap I can see for myself. It just looked like you might break in any second, so I thought I'd give you a friendly reminder. Or you're gonna try and tell me you were sleepwalking or something. No, nothing like that. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, for crying out loud. Even I get tired, you know. Interesting that Monokuma would say he gets tired. Stop being weird and go back to bed. What's wrong now?
Just a second.
Why are you out here making a racket? Kyoko?
You too?
You too?
You guys?
Whatever, the two of you just go back to bed. I'm positively exhausted from the class trial.
It's true.
Sure, you got it. Come on, Makoto, let's head back. What?
Hey,
Didn't you hear me? We're leaving. I have no idea what's going on anymore.
shall we go?
Don't worry about it, let's just go. Okay. Yeah, go on, get out of here. Shoo shoo. So it seems like she just used you as a distraction. So we left and went back to our rooms. And then,
Goodbye.
so goodbye. Hold on. Listen, what was all that just now? She woke me up, made me go to the data center, which just so happened to be locked. Then she shows up late, and we leave without checking a single thing. What was the point of all of that?
Phew.
Don't worry about it. Makoto just thought all of that. I figured that would be the end of our conversation, just like always, but...
Goodbye.
Well then, good night. Sure. And then that was over. But as I turned to leave...
Mukuro Ikusaba.
We have nobody by that name. So we've got now a new name being thrown out here, which just really isn't a game to throw out new names of people, because it's not like they've seeded the path for the headmaster to have a name and for that person to even matter to the player. If this name was recognized by, for instance, Makoto, that would definitely not be something the player would have known about. Uh, what? Kyoko's right next to me once again, whispering into my ear.
Mukuro Ikusaba,
And now it's a highlighted yellow name.
the 16th student, lying hidden somewhere in the school.
There was mention of a 16th student, but is that how you spell 16th? I guess. But then that was kind of quickly forgotten. Like, they almost at the exact same time, no, pretty much in the exact same scene, when we saw Sakura somewhere around halfway through chapter 3 talk to Monokuma, they mentioned a 16th student. And they kind of hinted that there was a 16th student because there was a 16th position for the class trials, which awkwardly creates a scenario where the 16th student has just been completely missing for all the class trials, and then there's a certain point where that stops being allowed, or it seems like it's not allowed. Yeah. So they seem to have given special different rules and regulations for the 16th student. And we have to also suspect the 16th student for either being a spy or the headmaster, one or the other.
The one they call the ultimate despair.
And giving it a nickname like the Ultimate Despair pretty much immediately highlights that that must be the bad guy.
Watch out for her.
Watch out for her. Being a Japanese name, you wouldn't immediately realize that was a female name. So that's the end of chapter 4. We're now down to 6, 7 question mark. To be continued. Now we have the altar lump, which, yeah, I don't know why you would specifically give that to Sakura in a New Game Plus, or if you'd want to give it specifically to Chihiro later. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just save over this one, just to save some space.
Mukuro Ikusaba.
And that would have been the point where the episode would have ended if this was a TV show.
Mukuro Ikusaba, the 16th student, lying hidden somewhere in this school.
This is another case where one character is being voice acted and the other
The
character
one they
really
call
isn't.
The ultimate despair. Watch out for her.
Although that works fairly well in that scene. Kyoko told me to watch out for Muriko Ikusaba. That was 3 days before the next incident, so we have 3 days. 3 days before we'd be faced with another murder. 3 days before the worst thing so far would reveal itself. So we have, in this instance, somebody being killed. We don't know really who. 100-mile dash, pain of a junk food junkie. Daily life, chapter 5. In the meantime, the day after Sakura's class trial that morning in the dining hall. Good, they saved us a ton of time there and just skipped to it. Which, honestly, if they realized they could do that in chapter 5, why didn't they realize they could do that in chapter 1 and save us a ton of time? It seems like they only want to save time when they know that the chapter itself is already going to be particularly long, and so with that one action, we kind of know chapter 5 is probably going to be super long. But maybe it won't be so complicated, but maybe it will. I mean, it would be kind of hard to have a straightforward murder mystery just happen. I guess it depends on how much side story we get, because in the 2 previous chapters we've had alter ego to focus on as side stories, and then just our general investigation of what's going on. So let's begin the usual post-trial investigation. Hey, you didn't make small talk or anything. We never just get straight to the point like that. If you want to keep up with me, you must refrain from pointless small talk. Jeez, just how high is that horse of yours?
Well?
He acts like that to hide his own insecurities. That's what I think anyway. Regardless, if you want to defeat the mastermind, you need to follow my lead. They creep around the school like a mouse, but the mastermind's pride is bloated as a cow's udder.
In the name of my family.
No matter what it takes, I will rid the world of them. ... Toko.
Huh?
Hey Toko, you've been pretty quiet. ... Man, you're so boring now. Just sit there like a mushroom. Gonna start calling you Miss Mushroom. ...
What's your deal?
She didn't snap back at you. Her talking makes things difficult, so I told her not to open her mouth without permission. Man, he is so abusive. But he definitely seems to be focused now to work with the rest of the group to defeat the mastermind. What? But she can't open her mouth, she can't eat or drink water. I don't care.
How about that?
And you're okay with that, Toko? ... Jeez, how low is that rock you're hiding under? I believe this is the small talk Byakuya warned us against.
Come on.
Interesting, Kyoko doesn't even care about Toko, and yet I let myself get involved. But it is now finished. I will never allow you to drag me down to your level again.
Let's go.
We're going to begin our search. Stop running your mouth and start moving your legs. Pressured by an obviously irritated Byakuya, we all started our exploration. Did they not even eat? Yeah. Alright, well, chapter 5 means what? Well, we will almost certainly go in the dining hall. So then it just becomes a question of, can we confirm nice coins are going to show up? Or is this just going to all be a huge waste of time? So much of this school really was just filling just general questions out as to, would a Japanese person feel like they could actually live in a school that was equipped a certain way versus actually playing any big roles in the story. Like there's definitely some rooms here that just obviously don't play a big enough role to justify their existence. And you certainly could have just not animated these areas and instead said, well, that's the laundry room, there's no reason to go in there. Or you could have compressed things and not had a laundry room, and then you could have simply had laundry done via machine in each bedroom. Also, it's fairly questionable whether it's really even worth your time to look for the single Monokuma tokens. Are these responses changing? Or are these just the same responses? I'm kind of just skipping them, even if they were different. Because this is not really like great interaction by any means to click on things you've seen 100 times before. The one thing that seems to have not changed is the second floor. So there's seemingly no point where we're gonna get a second floor of the dormitory, or it's gonna be a very long time. I suppose the question is, if you were to jump into Danganronpa 2, is it in this same school? Is the school exactly the same? Does it change anything at all? Or do they just reuse the 3D environmental assets as much as possible to save themselves some time? I would have to suspect that there's a decent chance that they don't use the same 3D environmental places, because the Nonary games didn't do that. Still can't go in the girls' bathroom. We've still not seen anything of any real importance in this bathroom. There is a decent chance that, as we have now potentially 5 levels of the school open, that we will find more and more spread out nice coins. Still haven't done anything with this. I'm just holding B on everything. And you kind of have this setting here where, until I get the full achievement for getting every single prize, every single present, there's kind of no argument here. Interesting, Hifumi's door didn't open. But everybody's who's dead's room seems to be locked. I wouldn't be surprised if Monokuma is intentionally like locking the doors on people. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any nice coins for trying people's doors. There's a considerably small number of people's rooms that are even open. I'm gonna make an executive decision to not open our door and go in there. And that way we can save ourselves a little bit of time. And then I'm going to make an executive decision to not go into the dining room, which then that puts us at Hope's Peak first floor to fast travel to. And more you're just going to run into scenarios where you search these areas and they give you maybe 4 or 5 nice coins, and that's it. I would kind of like it to be proven that there actually are no nice coins in the first floor or the second floor anymore, and I kind of feel like the game should do us the favor of just telling us that, really. But I don't know how it specifically could tell us, other than just perhaps giving you a nice detector, a Monokuma coin detector that says in this floor it's completely, there are no coins, or in this room there are no coins. That wouldn't be asking, frankly, too much. Because this is just getting compounded every time we have more rooms added. We also don't really have any more sections of the previous floors that are gonna be locked by much of anything. Like the nurse's office, where frankly could have made a little bit more sense for there to be more nurse's office stuff, more areas that were blocked off on lower floors. It's another nice coin, but we've really only found like 2. We very possibly will only find maybe 10. That is going to bring us down to a question here as far as, do we want to guarantee victories with, or go 50% chance with 20 coins, 22 coins, 23 coins, or do we want to just do 1 coin? I kind of feel like you just want to do 1 coin. See, like 1 coin just gave me a new thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if what really happens is you just have a maximum chance of getting everything at a certain level of the story, and it may be a case that you just cannot early wise get more of the things. It also would be very nice if we could sell. Interesting. I feel like the repeat chance went up there, but we didn't get a new item. Was it 7521? That's new. That's new too. Kind of implies the way this goes that there's 23 more items to get. That's new too. Yeah, I still feel like there should be something where you could sell presents or compound presents to give more. The chance of a lucky probably is the thing that really makes an argument to just use 1 token. Of course, also the problem here is you're gonna sit here for potentially an hour gambling with just 1 token. But we're not quite close enough either. Like, if I was at 99%, yeah. Well, after we get all of the presents, clearly the move is to not spend any coins and just get to 999 at that point if you can. I don't think I really have enough free time to give gifts, unless it turns out that almost certainly that's for Genocide Jill, the scissors. Although maybe she doesn't care for scissors that aren't her custom scissors. Yeah, unless we unlock a point later in the game where you just have infinite free time and you get to decide when you move forward. Or there's like, instead of a new game plus, there's kind of like a post-game experience where you just hang out with people and live your life forever, and you just constantly get more Monokuma tokens over time. Or unless there was like a casino or something that you could gamble the Monokuma tokens with to get more Monokuma tokens. We're still at like 87, so this could take forever. At a certain level, you would want to be able to roll 10 times on one coin. Use 10 coins for 10 opens. But yeah, I suppose this is working out a lot better than I thought it would have. I guess my system was flawed. It probably would be closer to 100% at this point had I just been using one token the whole time. At a certain level, it becomes a question as far as why not give a stack of presents so that when you gave one creepy doll, for instance, to somebody, if you had 10, you actually gave 10, or you gave 10 times the affection, you gained 10 times the affection. Then you could have a whole balancing system happening there where you would want to get a higher variety of different presents instead of potentially ending up with 10 copies of the same thing. But also you would benefit from having 10 copies of the same thing also. A hand bra. I got us up to 85% repeat chance. We still have 76 more coins to go through. We may have to very well break up these kinds of experiences. And I'm going to look at the clock right now, and if it takes longer than 10 minutes, I'll stop. Just for my sanity's sake and the viewers' sanity's sake. Flashlight? There is some questionableness around needing this many presents. 87. And if we can get about to 95. Yeah, even if you did have a New Game Plus mechanic in this, which it seems like this game should have that, you run into the weird situation where having a whole bunch of extra presents at the beginning of a new game doesn't seem like it would be anything that helpful. You still seem to have only a limited amount of time in which you can hang out with people during free time. So it doesn't fully make sense. It's not like the game is making notes as far as what you're giving, whether people are liking it or not. Honestly, this really just feels like what they did is they had a system that they wanted to try and make a little bit more friendly in the very, very late part of gameplay. So they added the repeat chance idea. But in mid-game and early game, they really didn't even bother to test it. Now I'm getting like 1 or 2 repeats very often. It seems like as soon as you do get an item you already have, it goes into the regular item pool. 88%. If it takes me 22 to get one more, that's still a little too expensive. I could get up to 90, maybe 92%, probably closer to 91%. But then I'd effectively only be able to get up to like 94 or 95%, with another 100 coins. I imagine we still won't have all the coins, all the presents until we've beaten the whole game, because we're getting specific special presents. And see, the repeat chance just went up higher again to 89%. But I don't feel like we got a new item. So why is the repeat chance going up higher when we don't get new items? That was new. We're at 50. That felt like that was new, but it apparently wasn't. We've got plenty of digital cameras at this point. They could be used for evidence. At a certain point, we also open up the door, I suppose, to not bothering to try and get 999 Monokuma tokens once we have all the presents. But that doesn't really work for Steam achievements, because Steam only highlights if you get all the achievements. So if we spend the effort to try and get all the presents and get the achievement for getting all the presents, we might as well spend the effort to try and get 999 Monokuma tokens. I also wouldn't be surprised if the game just gave you 999 at the end of the game. See, 44 more options, more chances. Some of these presents again feel very comedic and really feel out of place now that we are trying to be more serious with the story, or at least have a chance to be more serious with the story. Getting lucky does not seem to guarantee that you'll get a new item, but it seems that maybe you have a chance of getting a higher chance of getting a new item. Another pair of scissors? Interesting. I kind of wish there was something to be learned from this. The presents. Right, so if I was to do all 39 coins at this point, I can't even get it below 50. So it is, at this point, still better to just use one coin. Which really does make it feel like there's literally no time in this calculus that happens. You know what? I think the repeat chance went up in that case because I collected something that I gave away. So perhaps the repeat chance is somewhat built around the idea of you have to actually own each item, one copy of each present in your inventory. That would be a little weird, but that might be the case. We got about 2 more minutes to that 10-minute limit. Yeah, there's definitely a way you could have sped this whole process up. Just keeping the number of coins so I don't have to press down on the D-pad every time would be very helpful, and then just letting me hold down the A or B button would have been helpful, or just giving me a button to spin the same as I had spun before would have been helpful. That seems like that's new. Maybe. Maybe not. But yeah, every new chapter seems to inevitably run you into the same scenario where you walk down the same places, you look for Monokuma tokens, and then you eventually work your way to the new level, which they definitely could have saved us some time. That seems like we got something new, but apparently we didn't. We may have hit a cap at this point, and there may just be items that we absolutely cannot get. It's weird to have two pairs of scissors, but I guess that does make sense with Genocide Joe. And a lot of the gifts are frankly just weird. It feels like you would probably unlock content via a system like this more than just presents. Something more interesting, soundtracks, maybe different costumes, maybe different poses, maybe sketches, like things like that. We got 19 to go. And yeah. That lucky percentage really does just say use one coin always. I guess the one thing that would teach me to not do this would be to have it specifically let me go through like 100 tokens and not get a single new item. It does feel like we've gone through probably 20 items so far. 20 tokens and not gotten a new item. Of course, while you're doing this, you're pretty much backtracking on any tension as far as the 16th student and the drama of what happened in the previous chapter with Sakura and the thrill of finding something new. This is just an incredibly big speed bump to the actual gameplay in the game. There's a new thing. I could have sworn that was new, but the repeat chance didn't go up. Now the repeat chance went up. Yeah. I think we have to pretty much resolve that this worked so well that this is the strategy to go with and stick to. I could potentially get 100 or 200 new Monokuma tokens in the next chapter and spend 25 or more each time trying to get a new item. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if maybe you need 999 to guarantee that last item. And by running the Monokuma tokens down completely, we maybe increase the number of Monokuma tokens we find elsewise. One last one. We went about 4 to 5 minutes longer than I said I would. So we're at a repeat chance of 93.74. Over there, yeah. We can see in this map that there's nothing. So presence-wise now, We want to generally just highlight things and see if we've got any amount of presence that we are sitting very high on. Let's see. Latest style of premier Gothic Lolita fashion label. Well, that would have been a gift for Celeste. Hand bras designed to slip over your hands. Its slogan, raise your hands, raise your spirits. I don't understand. A bra designed to slip over your hands. Seems like that's translated wrong. Here we have competition swimsuits, which Hina would like. Here we have shears. And then you have layering shears. Seems like we have 5 of those, and then we kind of maxed out at 5 of those. I'm seeing 5 of a lot of things, so we're looking to see if maybe something has 6 of something. Otherwise, it may be a case that once you get 5 of everything, you stop getting any more copies, or they stop giving you that item. Like the fun plane we have 0 copies of, so we may very well have to get another fun plane to own 1 of each item. Of course, that didn't, once again, if that's what the achievement really requires, is that you own 1 of everything, then you run into a problem there where if you were to give anything away that was one of these top tier items you get for defeating the game, then you couldn't recover that unless there's a new game plus. Was this a wash basin intended to give you the courage to seek out a true man's fantasy, specifically in public bathhouses, i.e. peeping? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 more slots for presents. And as far as students, the e-handbook still claims there's only 15, even though we think there's actually 16. Alright, so now that we are completely out of this, this is a room that woefully was underused. So we may start getting more nice coins now. Let's see what this says. And one kind of assumes that nothing changes. There's a decent chance we won't get called into the gym, but there's a decent chance that we will too. So probably is beneficial to just check the entire gym. More and more we are finding less and less. Nothing in this bathroom. There's never been anything in that bathroom. Still can't go into the girls' bathroom. It frankly feels like they should just remove a lot of things that you can click on. Like, that would be a much more better way for a Western player, in my opinion, to play this game. Is once you've looked at something, you can't search it or click on it again or there's a decent indicator that you don't need to click on it or search it again, and thus there's a set number of nice tokens, and it continuously gets easier, not harder, to potentially work your way into the into collecting everything. Let's see. It kind of feels like this whole section would in particular be an area where there's a good chance of there not being a coin. A lot of these rooms certainly set themselves up as if they were going to be things that the students would potentially use a lot of, but I think there's actually very little use of that happening. Let's see. Like, you would think that once the swimming pool in particular happened and was found, that's where you would have found Aoi at all times. She would have just very specifically decided to always be at the pool. Let's peek. 4th floor. We can see if we could check out anything in the secret room. See, this is where the bathroom cleaning supplies are stored. It also leads to secret room, but they won't let you go into the secret room. Then you've got these school rooms, which for the most part these school rooms have proven to be pretty much completely useless, unless there is some twist that we have yet to figure out about these schoolrooms. Like the wallpaper having butterflies in this room, does that mean anything? I'd assume probably not. And then these chairs, which look just like study areas, never did anything. We're in a catch-22 though, because we found things on floor 1. But it feels like we're not gonna find things on floor 2. And a lot of this stuff definitely feels like it's just here to remind you about the events of previous chapters, which just really just highlights the idea, if there was an elevator that went to each floor, and after each chapter an elevator floor was unlocked and then a previous floor was relocked, that would have just saved us some time. Or you could have just had Makoto saying, I have no business on the 2nd floor. You could have just written it so that Makoto didn't ever bother to even go back to previous floors. Although there is definitely a possibility at some level we may run into a murder mystery where a body is found on the 1st floor and parts of the 2nd floor and 3rd floor and 4th floor all play a role, and we have to go throughout the entirety of the school. That would potentially be fairly boring. But at a certain level, I guess we have to unlock all the school. Alright, well with that, we found absolutely nothing on the 3rd floor. So, on the 2nd floor. So let's just roll the dice and skip the 3rd floor. And we can't get to the 5th floor yet. So let's just start on the 4th floor. And we'll search all this floor a second time. Because there is a decent chance that there's something here. Something we missed. This door's still locked, right? Like this is the floor with the headmaster on it. Honestly, if there was any floor that was going to give us more Monokuma tokens, you would think it would be this one. Alright, well. In this classroom. And we're kind of just assuming that each classroom has the same things to click on. It is just repeated, constant stuff. See, this is supposed to be like a mathematics class. So I guess maybe there's a hint as to which class, what was taught in each classroom. That helps in any way, I don't know. Interesting. This is the headmaster's door that we just tried. I thought I was going into the actual school music room. That's the problem now. So you've got several flowers to click on, but it seems like maybe fewer flowers than it seemed to originally. Honestly, it feels like there's only 6 flowers that you can click on. Yeah, and I assume there's nothing important written on that box. Alright, so there's one room here that we can't get into. And we haven't found a single Monokuma token in any of the rooms. So let's do the music room, and then let's just assume that there's nothing in the chemistry lab. As long as we don't see any. This really is a great room to have a murder in, so it would be kind of a waste for there to not be a murder in this room. Actually, on second thought, I'm thinking we should probably check out the chemistry lab just to see if the room is cleaned up because of the dropped thing. Everything is back to normal, just like Sayaka and Taka. Monokuma's responsible, I'm sure. There's not really a lot to even click on in here. Just still a weird chemistry lab, as it were, because it doesn't feel like this is where you would teach chemistry at all. Like, it feels like where somebody was doing chemistry inside a school. So up to 4th floor we go. No comments as we go up. So here I am on the 5th floor of Hope's Peak Academy. Now if each floor is supposed to be a floor of a graduating class, I'm fairly certain 5 years in high school would probably be the maximum of the number of years that the Japanese school system would consider high school. In the West, there's often a middle school of some sort. Sometimes it's 1 year. Sometimes they even have a middle school for like 1 year and then another year and then another year. 3 different middle schools for 3 different classes. That's typically because right about the time between 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade is when all the kids are going through puberty and fighting the most and really not getting along with people. They mostly start to grow out of that by the time you hit 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And so traditionally 9th grade would be your first year of high school, but certainly it has been split up in different ways by different school systems. I wouldn't be surprised if in a lot of Japanese schools, though, that they have fairly taller buildings and the entire graduating class from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade is in the same class. There are also small schools in the West that do that also. Although I will say, from what I've seen in Japanese schools, I've never really seen them gone much above a 3rd floor. So even a 5th floor here seems a little odd. The 5th floor has been opened up to us. It's totally different from all the floors we've seen up until now. For some reason it feels unpleasant. So we have plants on display, and like many of the previous floors, there's been a level of fake roofs or just no roofs. We can also see that in this case there seems to be absolutely no stairs going up any higher, and still just 2 classes. Alright. Nighttime secrets. No more. Stomp Stompy. He's so dirty. Interesting. Are we gonna get any Monokuma tokens? We're looking here. It says a violin. That might be English class. So now we're back to finding Monokuma tokens. So we do need to investigate this floor. Is this supposed to be Makoto directing a porno type experience? I kind of wonder what is going to trigger the next scene. Well, I guess that's weird because it didn't show us that she was in this room, but all of a sudden there are triggers in every room. Alright. So I guess we have to go everywhere. There's a garden, there's a dojo, there's class 5C, which, have we been seeing a class C classroom? No. There's tons of walls here too that just feel like they've been closed up. Catch me if you can. Wait up, I'm gonna punish you. Gross. And we don't know who that's supposed to be. Remember, Byakuya told her not to speak. So we can try and talk to her. But it's kind of no point. See, this says despair. I wonder if this is supposed to be like a calligraphy class and they localized it to English. Alright, well, we'll try and talk to Toko. Dot dot dot. Does she want to talk to me about something? Toko, what's wrong? Dot 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 dot. Is she trying to say something? I think she's almost just a little more and I might get it. Dot dot dot. I'm sorry, but I have no idea what you're trying to tell me. Dot dot dot. She just let her shoulders drop. She looks so sad. I guess she gave up. So, like, you want to be persistent with her? Does she want to talk to me about something? Yeah, okay. Byakuya's a jerk and she's a fool for... so when you hit this Y button, it doesn't do the same as looking at the map. So we'll talk to Aoi, I suppose, since we're here. This floor feels different compared to all the others. I'm not sure what it is. Is there some reason for that? I hope it's not anything too creepy. Definitely feels taller. And then we've got a dojo. Let's go in here. If anything, this looks like it's a place to practice Japanese archery, which Japanese archery is kind of interesting in that it's about style and form much more than it is about actually hitting the target, and you'll be actually penalized if you aim for the target too much. Alright, well, there's a locker here. Let's look at this. There's a bunch of wooden lockers in here. They seem to have numbers on them. Wooden locks and keys remind me of a super old school public bathhouse. Here you have a Japanese, like, target. Straw post used for sword practice. Did they use it for training here too? Then we have sakura trees, cherry blossom trees. Even though this room is totally enclosed, there's a cherry tree planted here and it's in full bloom. It's quite elegant. This is what you consider elegant?
Indeed.
I lived overseas for a long time, so this kind of Japanese style scenery is refreshing. Which I guess is to indicate that she lived outside of Japan and they are now in Japan. But considering our situation, it's kind of out of place. Alright. The targets seem pretty far away. Gotta say, pretty proud of my eyesight. It's zoomed in. A little visual effect there. Probably not necessary. Even though this room is totally enclosed, there's a cherry tree planted here and it's in full bloom. Same comment for clicking on that one. What's funny is we found a gold samurai sword in the trophy area, and it feels like it might have been better suited to have been here. So it'd be weird if we started to have to move things to their original positions. That like unlocks secret passages or something. Suit of armor is on display. It's extremely Japanese. Alright, well, we might as well just talk to people. I'm not gonna walk around places, look around the buildings, and come back and talk to everybody. That's just ridiculous. What Kyoko told me yesterday. What the heck did it mean?
Yukiro Ikusaba, the 16th student, lying hidden somewhere in this school. The one they call the ultimate despair. Watch out for her.
Kyoko. I'm not gonna say anything. Huh? I can't say anything. Kyoko narrowed her eyes. Her gaze started up to the surveillance camera.
Hey.
You understand why, right? She was trying to tell me that it was important. That the mastermind couldn't find it out. But how did Kyoko get her hands on information that could be that important?
So then.
We're finished here. She made it very clear that our conversation had come to an end. And just like usual, I didn't understand anything better than before. Alright, leave the area. Over here, we have some wide open doors. They go to a garden. So instead, let's go talk to Byakuya and the biolab first. Since these doors are more shut. Seems like that's a fairly long and dark hallway. What the hell is this? So this is different, and specifically, instead of bright pink blood, we have dark brown blood, which, if the Japanese were specifically trying to avoid a higher age rating by not depicting the blood as actual blood, it seems like they kind of have dropped the ball completely at this point. And they're using regular red blood for dried blood, which I don't know if that makes a big difference to the Japanese CERO rating board. That's CERO. Although maybe it's an argument that the CERO rating board doesn't bother to play the games all the way through, so we're just so late into the game it wouldn't even matter. But this definitely looks like a murder scene, and an old one, which is weird that it wouldn't have been cleaned up, or that we were supposed to have investigated it, considering how whoever was murdered probably wasn't one of us. The grotesque horror of a room struck me hard and fast. What I saw was bad enough, but what I smelled, it was sour, pungent, and possibly rank. This could all be a fake blood murder scene, but why?
I see.
It smells awful, doesn't it? It must be vaguely familiar to you. After all, you've been around your fair share of corpses. Are you saying? It's the smell of death. Their flesh and fat and blood. There's no surprise in his voice, no shock. But he's right. I had experienced the smell more than once before. It was the smell of death and despair. But the smell here is strong, condensed. It's the smell of a battlefield. Monokuma must have.
Hey, come on now.
What? My fault again? Stop trying to blame everything on me. If you hadn't done what you did, this never would have happened. What did we do? See, if this was a story of students that were like in hell and caused a great catastrophe or killed a bunch of other students, maybe this is the scene of where they I don't know, did a kind of school shooting or something, although the slash marks almost imply a school slashing in Japan, which well, actually there was one incident where somebody, a young kid, tried to like stab the young emperor with a protractor, basically. But I don't know if there's been any major incidences in schools of anybody actually doing major school slashings or anything like that. Guns not being readily available in Japan, there haven't been any school shootings. But yeah, Monokuma is seeming to imply somebody in this conversation, whether it's Byakuya or Makoto, caused this to happen. No, it's quite the opposite. The opposite?
Now then.
Yep, let me give you an itty bitty, eegee squeegee little hint. As far as the room goes, I don't know a thing. Interesting. Why would Monokuma not know a thing? So he basically said he doesn't know a thing, but it's not his fault. But it might be your fault. I just left it exactly how I found it. What?
Yes, indeed.
How's that for a hint? Better than those stupid hints you get from NPCs in those mean old RPGs.
Oh.
But it's pretty scary, huh? Blood all over the walls and junk. Of course, even in the outside world, people die bloody gruesome deaths every day.
I can't wait.
So it's not really a big deal. Just keep your chin up and keep on living, soldier. What's he talking about? He just left it the way he found it? What's the meaning of all this? Well, we do know a year ago there was some kind of major tragedy that shut down Hope's Peak. Let's count to the body marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is far from 15, but you'd kind of have a hard time squeezing 15 bodies here. So did everybody just go crazy potentially and kill each other? The monitor doesn't seem to have any blood on it or anything. Nor the camera. Still getting Monokuma tokens. And there wouldn't be any blood on the windows, but in this instance they didn't even have us search the windows. There's blood all over the place. I want to shut my eyes forever against this ghastly sight. Appears the blood stains are dry. And their color has changed as well. I think it's safe to assume these stains are considerably old. This is all really blood? Of course, I wouldn't find it interesting otherwise. And it is interesting, I assure you. What on earth happened in this classroom? He seems like he's enjoying himself. No way can I keep up with someone like that. Alright, so we're gonna have to talk to him. And then we'll leave. There's a white chalk outline drawn all over the floor. How many bodies were there? You see this kind of thing on detective shows and stuff like that. You always see it at the scene of a murder. ... I wish it could say I didn't believe it. Actually, don't do the chalk outlines nowadays. There's no reason you can just take photos or put up police tape way easier than having to mark where a body was and then wait for a detective or investigator to show up on the scene and start investigating, knowing where the position of the body was. Byakuya, about what Monokuma just told us. ... It's like I'm not even here. He must be lost in thought. Is he really thinking that hard, or is he just flat out ignoring me? We can see bloody handprints. Leave the area. Alright, well that was something different. Here we have a biolab that says RAW. R-A-W. Rattle rattle, it's locked. We came all this way just to be denied here. The sign here on the hall says biolab. Biolab? That's where... A biolab that we're forbidden from seeing into. It kind of sounds like something out of an old cheesy horror movie. So I guess if we were clones, it would make a lot of sense for the biolab to be closed. And this would be where they would make more clones of us. Can we fast teleport over here? Yes, we can. And then this area just kind of goes around in circles. Definitely feels like there would be a better use of that wall than that. So this must be the last place we're supposed to go, a bright open area with a giant plant and several other things. Take note too that we still are getting those effects of things popping in, almost like it was a play. A giant plant with some giant, like, Venus flytrap and pitcher plants. They all look like they might be carnivorous plants, actually. I'm not sure for 100%. There's very few carnivorous plants that exist. Here it seems to be regular fruit-bearing trees on the outer skirts. Still no reason why the background music is always playing like that. Seems so pointless. Alright, so over here we have a camera, and then we have, just to be sure, I should take a look in the tool shed. Why are we looking in the tool shed? This place seems totally disorganized, from a lawnmower to fertilizer, flower pots to farm tools. Does Monokuma expect us to maintain those giant flowers now? Who is doing that up until this point? And leaning against the back wall. Is that a pickaxe? See, it almost seems like it's a reference to Minecraft. Bags of fertilizer piled up, so many different kinds to choose from. I don't know if any of the characters even implied that they had any interest in gardening. But I guess the idea is that they're going to have to get it. There's something carved into the handle of this pickaxe. Crazy diamond. That's weird because that is, let's see if we can even bring it up. Mondo's. Mondo was the ultimate biker gang leader, and Crazy Diamond was the name of his gang, or what was on the back of his coat. So what's it doing here? Something carved into the handle of the pickaxe. Crazy Diamond. Feel like I remember seeing that somewhere. Yeah, there is clearly something weird going on here. So many flower pots. Maybe you'll grow some flowers to put in my room. Here you have a lawnmower that feels like it would need gasoline. Yeah, that looks like gas tanks. So wouldn't you run out of gasoline pretty quickly? There's a lawnmower here. Even with this here, who's actually going to take care of the lawn? Nothing in the bag. Nothing in the shears. Nothing in the hand. I want to say scythe, but that's not what that tool is called, I don't think. Alright. Well, otherwise we have several things to click on. Some kind of control panel set near the wall. Does it control the air conditioning or something? It's for the sprinklers. Sprinklers? Yeah, it controls the sprinklers in the garden. What's interesting to that idea is, why would you put the control panel to the sprinklers in the garden so it sprays on itself? That seems counterintuitive, because if you wanted to run and turn off the sprinklers, the last thing you want to do is make somebody have to run through the sprinklers and get sprayed to turn it off. The sprinklers are set to go off every morning at 7:30. Remember that, clearly it's highlighted. Don't you dare change it without permission. Of course, the setting panel is locked, so you couldn't change it if you wanted to. So that means the sprinklers go off at 7:30 every morning. Again, can't break locked. Can you break locks, or can you not break into locked rooms? We haven't had a new regulation in a very long time, and I don't know if we're going to get any more. Let's see. Breaking into locked rooms is strictly prohibited. Breaking locks, not so much. We also haven't had very many tricks around these regulations lately either. Yep, you got it. It's super user-friendly, which sucks. So if you get here too early, you'll get drenched, so watch yourself. But you're not a little kid, right? You're too old to go running through the sprinklers anyway. That's a funny face he's making for that. Or do you have some kind of water fetish? Yeah, he's making a dirty joke reference. I guess. I'm gonna tell everyone, haha. Alright, well. Do we click on this plant? Ooh, what is that? Thing is super weird, super creepy. Flowers aren't supposed to get that big. Is this thing real? Watch out. What? That's a Monokuma flower. I came up with the name myself. Try and touch it and you're in for some real excitement. Your heart's all like whoa and the plant's all like snap and your flesh is like blah, I'm dead. In other words, it's a monstrosity. It's pretty freaking amazing if I do say so myself. A student at Hope's Peak added improvement after improvement and it created this miracle creature. The ultimate botanist, although they don't go here anymore. They died during the tragedy. So, yeah. Is that to imply that there might be new characters in a sequel or prequel to Danganronpa and we will run into an ultimate botanist character?
Actually,
By the way, despite how it looks, this flower is super practical. It eats paper, plastic, and even people, so it's totally good for the environment. Such an eco-friendly creation is vital for the future growth of a healthy society. Yeah, we don't know if there's some kind of apocalypse outside where that might be helpful or not. Not that I know anything about that myself, Spouting more and more nonsense, Monokuma eventually disappeared. Whatever it is, I better keep my distance. We get a nice coin for that. Did we click on the monitor? As well as monitors. And then we click on this door. Is this a chicken coop? What's a chicken coop doing here? Seems kind of weird to just have a chicken coop and no other animals. If you're gonna go all out and have kind of a ranch or open places for animals, you want cows and chickens and maybe horses, maybe bunnies. What we're not seeing is an instance of this school being like a Noah's Ark type thing with either genetic makeup for every animal on the planet or two of every animal on the planet. This place even has chickens, huh? They're just regular chickens, right? Like they don't eat people or lay bombs instead of eggs or something crazy like that. Yep, they look like they're just chickens. It seems safe. So we have 5 chickens to click on. It's a chicken, it's not gonna like lay a bomb or anything, is it? So we just have to click on all of them to get a chicken making a sound effect, which is weird because none of the other items really made sound effects when you clicked on them. And we didn't get any Monokuma tokens for that. So now we have a conversation that I guess we're getting forced into with Yashihiro, which it kind of sucks he's still in the story. Oh, you like chickens too, Makoto? Yeah, I love the little guys. They're seriously cute, right? There's exactly 5 of them here, but no roosters, so they're gonna die out eventually. Exactly. 5. You know, the number that comes after 4 and before 6? At least in terms of natural numbers. Anyway, whenever the number 5 pops up, that's a good omen. It contains the mystery of the cosmos.
I'm at least 30% right.
It's a number of power, a refreshing number on par with hand-squeezed all-natural lemonade. Is there a possibility that the number 5 will play a role at some point? He never lets me get a word in edgewise. Alright, so we had a conversation with him, but I think we have to talk to him again. First I thought I saw blue skies, but turns out they're just painted the walls and the ceiling.
You know?
Oh, but the plants are real. It's been a while since I smelled vegetation. It helps me relax. That's not what you're thinking, is it? Huh. Why is that bad? Don't you get it? Don't you realize the true horror of plant life? It's there, just beneath the surface, beneath the calm exterior. They're always watching and waiting. What's funny here too is we have all this food that shows up every day magically at the dining hall, but none of it seems to be being grown in the garden, so we have no idea where the food is coming from. And when they decide they can't leave us in charge of Earth anymore, they'll put their plans of global human extinction into action. ... I'm serious. ... So yeah, Yashahiro still crazy and pointless. I mean, what can you do with characters like that? I mean, they really are just cannon fodder. So yeah, they've painted the whole ceilings, and at this point I feel like we've triggered everything, so let's leave the area. I guess I've seen what there is to see up here for now, but once again, nothing I found seems to make any real sense. I need to head back to the dining hall and find out what the others turned up. So yeah, once you leave, it just triggers. One after another, everyone made their way to the dining hall. Before too long, it would appear everyone has returned. But still, it's just the 6 of us. That's barely enough for a decent volleyball team.
Just a second.
Hey, don't be a sourpuss. We've got to think positive. Besides, even if one more person dies, we can still field a baseball team. That's like reverse positive thinking. Anyway, there's no time to be depressed. For the sake of everyone we've lost, we have to do our best. Can we stop all this group hug nonsense? We need to find out what everyone discovered. Alright, well, now that we're in here, let's see if we can find some nice coins in the dining hall. But we'll also need to go check the kitchen too. I imagine they're not gonna let me go in there. So let's talk to Toko and see if she can actually talk now that Byakuya may give her permission. ... Hey Byakuya, it seems like Toko wants to say something.
What?
So why are you telling me?
Hey.
Well, because you told her to zip it or whatever. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Jesus, man, I know you like torturing her, but come on. Well, Toko, if you want to envelop us all in your putrid breath, I won't stop you. You honor me, master. And don't worry, I took care of the odor problem. She is such a sadist. But also, this is like a great example of the idea of the fetish of being a sub and a dom really fall apart once it's leaving the bedroom and it's affecting something important like a murder mystery, and you're just controlling every aspect of Toko's life, every decision she makes. That's not a healthy expression or role playing of a fetish at that point. That is literally just allowing yourself or even wanting yourself to be abused. Seriously, you're just gonna take it? Shut up. And don't interrupt when Master and me are talking. Okay, so what did you want to tell us? Well, I was in a classroom on the 5th floor, and something caught my attention. It was this. A knife. Whoa, that thing's huge. It's like Rambo size.
What?
It's a survival knife of some type. But what was it doing in a classroom? Well, maybe somebody took a survivor knife and slashed up a whole classroom.
Well,
How would I know?
Very suspicious.
What are you gonna use that knife for? What are you planning to do to us? I'm not gonna do anything. I just picked it up. I don't want to leave a knife just laying around.
How about that?
I'd rather have it lying around than in the hands of a serial killer. Don't compare me to her. I'm nothing like her. Listen, more important. Now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it?
You know?
We can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do.
what's your
I
problem?
don't want it anyway. It's too dangerous. So what to do?
So then,
Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? What's funny here is who's in charge of the trash duty since Hifumi died? Like, it would be very easy for whoever is in charge of trash duty to simply say, let's just all go to the trash room and burn it right now. Or at least lock it behind the gate, where they could lock things. Me? Oh yeah, I totally trust Makoto to take care of it. See, this idea kind of falls apart though, because if you fail at any of the class trials, they then accuse you of being the murderer. So the idea that they trust him now is kind of silly.
Okay.
Then that's that. Hold on, don't I get a say?
It's all clear now.
It just shows how much they trust you. You should do as they ask. Are you sure it's trust? I feel like they're just using me. Okay, so here you go, Makoto. They're acting like I already said yes, fine. I guess there's nothing I can do. I'll just keep it in my desk drawer for now. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Hey, Toko. Do I still have bad breath? Sorry. I'm sorry it stinks. I'm sorry it stinks. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
You made a valuable discovery. Good job. Huh? 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 Did Master just praise me? Hey, good for you. Eh. I'm dreaming. I must be dreaming. That I would ever experience such a dream. I feel so strange. So strange, really strange. No, oh no. She's now flipping out. Whenever I look at Toko these days, it makes me feel sad. Alright, so that was Toko's contribution. Interesting. So now we have everybody else to talk to. Let's talk to Howie.
Yeah.
I checked all the windows on the 5th floor, front to back. That used to kind of be Sakura's job, but anyway, no dice. There were metal plates on all the windows just like everywhere else, which means no chance of escape on the 5th floor either.
So,
We do have a react thing here. Even if they could get through the windows on the 5th floor, they would have a hard time climbing safely down from the 5th floor. Did realize something about the layout of the school. Let's just take a moment to look at the maps for a second of school, the 1st floor versus the 2nd floor versus the 3rd floor versus the 4th floor, which is bigger than the 3rd floor, versus the 5th floor, which is bigger than the 4th floor. Like, these layouts are ridiculously inconsistent. They are not a building on top of a that would be built in such a way. React. What exactly did you notice about the layout of the school?
just a second.
You took a good look around the 5th floor yourself, didn't you, Makoto? Huh? Why do you
So
ask?
then,
Because if you did, you must have noticed the 5th floor is lacking something every other floor has. Something all the other floor has, but not on the 5th floor. Are you talking about stairs? There aren't any stairs leading up from the 5th floor. That's what you're talking about, right? Does that mean the 5th floor is the end?
correct.
We're finally starting to get a clear picture of this school. All that's left now is to solve the underlying mystery. But that's the hardest part.
okay.
Even if it's hard, we still gotta do it. Yeah, Hina's right. Everything will be okay as long as we work together. I'm sure we'll make it out of this. No, not I'm sure. We absolutely will make it out, no matter what it takes. What gets me about this idea is if the fifth floor is the end of it, then we at some point either have to start getting to the second floor of the dormitory, or there just won't be any more murder mysteries, and or there will be more murder mysteries but no more locations revealed. Honestly, though, it's not like getting new locations is that interesting. You're just getting new scenes and settings to have murders in, and none of them have played major roles. You could have had like the rec room murder happen easily in the nurse's room if you wanted.
Hey,
My concern is with the biolab. That was the only place on the fifth floor that we couldn't access. The biolab. I wonder what's in there.
Could it be?
If this were like a cliche horror game, it'd be some kind of creature, the final boss, or tyrant. So they're referencing Resident Evil there.
But
Or not in a horror game, though. Are they not? Either way, we don't need to worry about it at the moment. Don't bother thinking about something that can't be understood no matter how much you think about it. Your tiny brains can only do so much, so focus on utilizing them effectively. Or efficiently. Which word was that? Efficiently. I don't really like how you said it, but what you said is probably right.
What?
No, how I said it is right too. Wow. Still a big jerk.
You know?
Well, there's a big garden on the fifth floor, and I found more than one thing to be worried about. There's a stupidly large plant, a chicken coop, and I know you're gonna say it, but a tool shed, so let's just react to everything. Monokuma said that that's called a Monokuma flower. Even touching it seems dangerous, so we have to be careful.
For serious?
It's totally a man-eating plant. I'm pretty sure it's different from the one that lives in the pipe. That's a Mario reference. Mario Brothers. Anyways, that thing must benefit from the sprinkler system as much as anything else in there. Oh yeah, apparently the sprinklers come on every morning at 7:30 on the dot. Yeah, remember that. You don't want to get drenched and catch a cold. Well, you don't have to worry. They say idiots never catch colds, you know? Of course not, because idiots never get wet. I think you're thinking of ducks. I'm starting to worry about you, hero. Can you tell me what 10 plus 10 is? Oh, come on. You don't always have to call me dumb. I may have been held back 3 times, but that doesn't make me stupid. If it'll make you happy, I'll answer your dumb question. So, what was the question again? Don't worry, you just answered it. But now we have to kind of talk to him again. And let's go and react to the chicken coop. There's a bunch of chickens in the chicken coop, right? That's right, 5 chickens. I love chickens. It's kind of funny that Hina is not more upset about Sakura since this is the exact next day of the class trial. Let's raise them big and fat, and then we can make fried chicken or barbecue. Delicious decisions. Oh, how about raw? Because there's nothing fresher than raw, right? I'm pretty sure that would kill you. Yeah, Hina is pretty stupid too. So now react to the tool shed. If I can, if we can potentially talk to this guy one more time and get to the next line of dialogue, we might find that there's some hidden dialogue when you don't react. You noticed it too, that pickaxe. What about the pickaxe? Music goes quiet. Well, there's a pickaxe in the tool shed, and the words "crazy diamond" have been carved into the handle. Haven't we seen that phrase somewhere before? Crazy diamond. Yeah, it does sound kind of familiar, I think.
it's true.
I don't just think I know. We've definitely seen that phrase before. Where? Wouldn't it be funny if it turned out in some alternate reality or in the past, each of the members of this game were members of the Crazy Diamond biker gang, or maybe they all had a different club that went by the name Crazy Diamond. Where? Ah, that's it, I remember. It was on Mondo's uniform on the back of his jacket. His jacket said the same thing, right? Crazy Diamond.
I see.
You're absolutely right. But why would it be on a pickaxe in the garden? Mondo must have snuck it in there and done it, right?
Not possible.
But we didn't have access to the garden until today. Then maybe Mondo brought it with him when he first came here and Monokuma confiscated it. Whatever the reason, that's what stuck out to me in the tool shed. The pickaxe is connected to Mondo. Yeah. What stuck out to me wasn't the pickaxe at all. Huh? Then what did? What I noticed was the lawnmower. I'm thinking maybe we can use it to call for help. How are you gonna call for help with a lawnmower? I don't know, maybe you could make crop circles or something. Well, that would work if there was any windows that showed any lawns to the outside. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna make crop circles. And we'll use it to call for help. What's the heck's happened to you? You weren't like this in the beginning, you know?
You know?
Well, back then my personality hadn't quite solidified yet. I don't think it was possible, but I'm more disappointed in you than I've ever been. So yeah. Let's then. Didn't you know you could you could have a real live garden in the school? All that green is super relaxing, you know. Just gotta make sure we don't get body snatched. Okay. The Monokuma is enough to keep me away regardless. So, alright, at that point, that's all the conversation we can have. We'll have to talk to Byakuya. By the way, did any of you find it? The other strange room on the 5th floor? Well, no, strange is a massive understatement. The smell of flesh and fat and blood, the white outlines of countless corpses. Countless is an overstatement. It was more dreadful than anything I've encountered here so far. What the hell are you talking about? The smell itself was horrific, far beyond any normal murder scene. Everybody's smell concentrated. God, I'm glad I didn't see it. I feel like I'm gonna barf just hearing you describe it. I mean, what the hell happened in that room? We're back to cussing a little bit, but at least it seems a little bit more natural than the way Mondo cussed. I can only think of one thing. A large group of people died right there in that room. A bunch of people were killed in there? Stop, seriously, I'm gonna throw up.
It can't be.
Perhaps that's what was meant by the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Honestly though, in a Japanese classroom, even if it was like every single student on the 5th floor crammed into that one classroom and then they were killed, you're talking 90, 100 people. It can't really be the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history at all. Particularly, I mean, the bombs dropping on Hiroshima, for instance, killed a lot more people. So you really can't have that as that being the whole part of it. It could be that it is somewhat related to that, but I still heavily would assume that there is some kind of major, like, apocalypse of some sort that got started at Hope's Peak a year ago and then spread out to the rest of the world. Huh? You're thinking the same thing then. My theory is the mass murder took place in that room is the incident said to have happened 1 year ago. Of course, they could have also just been exaggerating. The awful scene in that room. That was the tragedy that happened a year ago. Of course, they wouldn't just leave it that way. The police wouldn't leave it that way. They would send in some kind of cleaners to clean the place up, and the school at the very least would send in some cleaners to clean the place up, or maybe tear down the whole school, if not the room at the minimum.
In other words,
Precisely, the tragedy is another name for the genocide of student body of Hope's Peak Academy. If that's true,
it's all clear now.
that would explain why Hope's Peak was forced to close its doors. I mean, I guess that all makes sense, but it's all just so awful. Not just awful, super awfully awful. That's right, it's beyond awful. It's terrible, tragic, and hopeless. Is it really that much worse than what we've seen in the game up until this point? I don't think so. If you were gonna have a mass killing in the school, you kind of then needed to have watered down all the class trials and all the murders that had happened up until this point. And I don't know how you could really have accomplished that at all. But still, how is it not one of us ever heard about something like that happening? It almost would make sense about the whole cloning thing too, as if all 15 / maybe 16 of the students that were attending this school are the 16 students that were killed previously, and they've been cloned and brought back. It almost makes too much sense at that point. Does that mean they really did cover it up? Well, I think that's all the new information we have for now.
Yo.
So now what do we do? Well, starting today, you're all under my command. Yeah, sure. But before we proceed, I need to figure something out.
No way.
Geez, how cocky can you be? You're gonna bust through the ceiling if your head gets any bigger. So what is it you want to figure out? Kyoko's identity. Huh? ...
Well,
Kyoko's identity, but Kyoko is Kyoko, right? Yes, but who is she? The rest of us have clear, definable reason for having been selected to attend Hope's Peak Academy. Hina is the ultimate swimming pro. Hiro is the ultimate clairvoyant, which isn't saying much for clairvoyance. And even Makoto is the ultimate lucky student. Yeah, it would be weird if Hiro's clairvoyancy actually did play a role at some point. And he actually was good. More unlucky than lucky these days, but... So what about Kyoko? Can anyone tell me what she is? Now that you mention it, she never told us. Well, Kyoko doesn't really like talking about herself anyway, right? It's not a matter of what she likes or doesn't like. This is a matter of trust. Can you trust someone who's unwilling to reveal their true identity? We need to avoid raising any more unnecessary suspicions. So, Kyoko, it's time you told us. ... I can't. What? Why won't you tell us?
Wrong.
I didn't say I won't. I said I can't.
What the heck?
What do you mean?
So,
Because I don't remember. What? I have no memory of what I am. You have no memory, you mean amnesia? Very late in the game to bring out the cliche of amnesia. ...
What?
If I thought you had a sense of humor, I'd say you were joking, but if this is a joke, I'm not laughing.
this is
You can't be serious right now, can you? I knew you wouldn't believe me. That's why I didn't say anything.
However,
But it doesn't matter. Either way, the truth will make itself clear before we're done.
What?
So you have no intention of telling us. Then I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
hey,
What are you gonna do? Torture me? Nothing so barbaric as that.
It's all clear now.
I would simply limit your options. I cannot allow you to engage in any further suspicious activity. Limit my options?
Just give up.
Give me the key to your room. But if she gives you her room key, she can't go to sleep in her room. She'll be breaking a school regulation. And if she doesn't want that, she'll talk. It's easy. All she has to do is tell us about herself. Just hold on. A threat like that.
that's fine.
Fine, I understand. Good, you're finally in the mood for a conversation. Without saying a word, Kyoko walked right up to Byakuya and held out her her room key to him.
It can't be.
You damn fool. Why do you refuse to talk?
Because.
Whether I want to or not, I can't. All I can do is keep telling you that.
So,
Maybe she really did lose her memory. If you really think about it, it doesn't sound totally impossible. This is the worst school ever. Well, only the worst stuff happens, right? Amnesia would fit right in.
However,
The worst school where only the worst things happen. Do you really mean that? Huh?
hey,
Can you really be sure that life here has been filled with only the worst things? What do you mean? ... Perhaps I've said too much. Kyoko then turned her back to us and without a word began to walk away.
Come on.
So I guess this must confirm that you can't sleep in the dormitory hallways. So like you can't sleep in the warehouse or the kitchen. Well, you couldn't definitely sleep in the kitchen or the dining hall, but you can't sleep in the dressing room or the bathhouse. I feel like somebody would accidentally fall asleep in the bathhouse anyways, so that's kind of a dangerous rule. We never got a key to anybody else's room, so now it would be up to either Aoi or Toko or Byakuya or Hiro or Makoto to let her sleep in one of their rooms. Where do you think you're going?
goodbye.
Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything to harm any of you. Those were her last words as she left. Kyoko's last words. The dining hall was silent, there foreshadowing that she may die. The only sound was the door opening and closing as Kyoko left the room, which is funny because I don't feel like the dining hall doors typically are closed, at least the way they're depicted.
What the heck?
What's her deal?
but
I think you went too far taking her room key like that. For her, that wasn't far enough, says Toko. Or maybe she gets off on the attention. I can't believe her enjoying getting yelled at.
Stop talking.
You're getting noisy again, Toko. ...
Come on.
Sorry, I can still hear you. The sound of your breathing, of your heart beating, it grates on me. Are you telling her to die? I mean, I know how you feel, but what's Kyoko gonna do now? Plus the situation. It's just like before. It's no different when everyone started accusing Sakura. And I'm no different this time either. I can't stop anyone. I still can't stop anyone. Yeah. What the hell? Why are you yelling all of a sudden?
I mean,
Cause look. And Monokuma's just standing there. It's you. How long have you been standing there? I'm very, very angry. Angry at what? At the thief. Yes, that's right. I'm very sad to have to tell you there's a thief in your midst. What? My precious. They stole it. Your precious?
teacher had such faith in you. This is how you repay me? With betrayal?
Monokuma was supposed to be our teacher? Reality is filled with so much hardship, isn't it? No wonder people run away into their fantasies. But what the heck is your precious? Shut up. I hope you all get stuck in a hiring freeze and die penniless on the street. Oh. I don't even know what that means. And he's gone. What the heck was that all about?
So,
He said something about his precious getting stolen. Does anyone have any idea what that might mean? It's likely something to do with Kyoko, huh? Who else other than her would be willing and able to steal something from Monokuma? Did Kyoko really steal something from Monokuma? If that's true, what was it, and why would she do that? Ding dong, bing bong. Well, I'll have to remember I didn't go into the kitchen and search it for Monokuma tokens.
This is a school announcement. It is now 10 p.m. As such, it is officially nighttime.
I feel like he sometimes lies about when it's 10
Soon
p.m.
the doors to the dining hall will be locked, and entry at that point is strictly
And I guess this is
prohibited.
the one point where they had to add the words soon instead of having the doors immediately lock.
Okay then. Sweet dreams, everyone. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Uh-oh, we need to get out of here.
You know?
We can talk about this more tomorrow. How about and about Kyoko. However, after what just happened with Monokuma and Kyoko, I feel like there's something in the air. I'd suggest you take extra precautions tonight. Stay in your rooms. Don't go wandering around. Not like we need you to tell us that.
Bye.
Well then, let's disperse. I'll see you all tomorrow. So yeah, I suppose as long as she doesn't sleep, she's fine. Following his lead, each of us went back to our rooms. Ah, that's right. I need to put away this knife that I got from Toko. I think a safe place to put it would be my desk drawer. But anyway, is Kyoko really gonna be okay? She can't get into her room. What's she gonna do? Isn't there something I could do? You could leave your door open and call for her. Something I can. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Ding dong. As I opened my eyes, I realized I'd fallen asleep without realizing it, but more important, we also haven't seen any Monokuma theaters in a while. Did I hear the doorbell? So, let's search everything just to be thorough. And make sure we've searched our bedroom. Which that pretty much means if we're gonna look for nice coins, the only places would be left would be the second, third, or fourth floor. See if there's any more. We lost the sword after I guess that first episode, the first chapter. Right, well, so that means we should have scanned everything at this point. So overall for this episode, we spent a lot of time collecting presents. We've not gotten into any point where we've had any free time. And honestly, I'm not sure that we are actually going to even have any free time at all. Which then almost opens up this argument that there might literally only be enough free time to talk to everybody once or twice. And then you have to do like a new game plus or go back and potentially replay chapters. And maybe the replaying of chapters magically stacks so that you could get to like 2 stars. We are moving definitely more along the level of actual interesting in-game content, or at least something closer to in-game content compared to just another murder mystery. We will undoubtedly have another murder mystery, but I don't think that will be the sole focus. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.